And we kick off this evening with a look at the cinema.
I'm not a complicated man. I like cinema.
It's beautiful, beautiful cinema.
Cinema history come to life.
I found my solace in the small cinema I went to every Thursday night.
I'm a professor of cinema.
I go to the cinema for the stories.
There was no competition between the cinema and seminar.
I mean, it's not within the realm of conventional cinema.
And now,
here's Pace and Johnson
with a cinema review.
It is Monday, October 20th, 8 EST, and thank you for joining me for another episode of Cinemaster's Reviews. Exciting episode this week. We are reviewing After the Hunt, the new film from Luca Guadagnino, as well as Good Fortune, the directorial debut of Parks and Recreation, and and stand-up comedian Aziz Ansari's, also starring Keanu Reeves and Seth Rogen. I said we jump right into the show. That being with our first review of the night, that being After the Hunt. Like I said, this is directed by Luca Guadagnino. Whoa, those are not the correct banners. I apologize. I should have taken care of that before the show. Real quick. And make those blue, because blue is the best color. Thank you. Just switch that over from the Hit Stick. Great show if you are an NFL fan on the video store. But yeah, After the Hunt, directed by Luca Guadagnino. This is the, I believe, fourth film this decade from Luca Guadagnino. He directed Bones and All. He directed Queer last year, and he directed one of my favorite films of 2024, Challengers. This one he is directing a movie set in 2025, and it is set in the on the campus of Yale University. It is about two philosophy professors, one of them played by Julia Roberts, the other played by Andrew Garfield, and Julia Roberts is really taking a liking to one of her students, played by Ayo Edebiri, Maggie. And one night after a party where all the teachers and students are mingling, one night Alma comes home and she finds Maggie at her doorstep crying and wet from the rain. And Maggie says that Hank, Andrew Garfield's character, assaulted her that night, and she is going to be pressing charges. You follow these characters through the aftermath of those events. You see how Hank is affected, how everyone starts to treat Maggie after this, and Alma is right in the center as someone who wants to believe Maggie and obviously doesn't want her to get hurt, but is also a peer to Hank and wants him and just wants to figure out the truth. Luca Guadagnino is a director I really, really love. He's a filmmaker I think always knows how to add style to his movies, always just makes his films just look incredible. Like you think of a movie like Call Me By Your Name, and that just makes Italy look amazing. Challengers has this really pastiche look where all the colors are really bright. Like you'll just have scenes of like Zendaya and Josh O'Connor talking outside of a hotel, and it's like the best looking movie you'll see. Queer looks really great. Always knows how to make his movies look really, really great. And he's also really involved in characters that are not the best people and how they interact with each other and how their mistakes that they make ultimately end up affecting everyone around them. And when you hear the synopsis for this movie, where it is a film that is tackling Me Too, it is tackling cancel culture, I was really, really interested to see what Luca Guadagnino would do with this subject material, because this is obviously very, very challenging, excuse my pun, challenging subject material to tackle, and I want to see a filmmaker as good as Luca tackle it. And if I'm being honest, I was very disappointed with the end result that we get. Honestly, I am struggling to think of a more disappointing film that I have seen in 2025 than After the Hunt. With as much as I adored Challengers, with as much as I really liked Bones and All, I love Call Me By Your Name, I love A Bigger Splash. I even really liked Queer. Also, I Am Love is really good. This is the first Luca Guadagnino movie that I have seen. Suspiria, I also really love. This is the first Luca Guadagnino movie I have seen that I just really didn't care for, and I thought what it was trying to get at, while I applaud it for going there, I think it is handling it in a very, at points, stupid and dumb way, and also irresponsible way with the way it is presenting these themes. If I can just get the good out of the way first, almost all of the performances are really, really excellent. Specifically, Julia Roberts. It's been a second since she's had a part that has allowed her to really shoot. It has been a while since she had a really, really good role written for her, and she is excellent as this character of Alma. She is this character that seems very stoic at first. She is someone that we know is very smart, and Julia Roberts is able to play that very well. I would really love to see her play more characters like this as she gets to this part in her career. And then as the movie starts to go on, while you would think that this character would start to get more broken down and more like confused with what's happened, Julia Roberts always plays this character with a sense of power and a sense of just leadership that you might be surprised with where this character you might expect her to be like confused and just like not really know what's going on a lot of times. But I think when you have an actress like Julia Roberts that commands this movie star persona so well, she's able to translate that into a lot of really great moments. Except for towards the end when the character is truly like beaten down and just does not know where to go. So Julia Roberts is great. Andrew Garfield is maybe the best performance in the film, because from minute one, when you see Hank at this party, he is not a very likable guy. He is someone that always seems like he needs to be the center of attention. He is someone that is talking with everyone. You hear this history that Hank is someone who has philandered with other students in the past in a consensual way with what we're told. But Andrew Garfield is able to play this douchey role so well that like at first like you don't like the guy, but you're somewhat drawn to him because Garfield is so charismatic. And then as the movie starts to go on, as you start to see Hank become more and more pissed off, Garfield plays anger so well. I can't remember the last time I saw Andrew Garfield in a role where he gets to just be like this angry and this unlikable at points. But he is able to sell that really well. Most of the movie, most of the emotional crux and the like dramatic crux of this movie is placed on Ayo Edebiri's Maggie. I think Ayo Edebiri is good. I really love Ayo Edebiri as an actress, and she's phenomenal in The Bear. I really loved her in Bottoms. I really liked her in almost everything she's done. I think compared to all the other performances, I think just some people are just given more to do. Michael Stuhlbarg plays Alma's husband in this movie. Michael Stuhlbarg is a guy I've loved since A Serious Man, and while he's really fun, the character he's playing is so weird and just so puzzling that I was just like, why was this character written this way? Frederick, Alma's husband, is like, everyone says that Alma married an asshole and just this stuck-up prick, and Michael Stuhlbarg delivers all his lines like, "Oh well, Alma, I see you are engaging with your students again. Do you really think Hank is as innocent as you think? He may have done it." And he plays it like such this posh way that I just don't see Michael Stuhlbarg play his characters very often, and it was kind of a weird choice, but I was honestly very into it. Chloe Sevigny is also in this movie. She plays Maggie's therapist, and she's really funny. She's someone that's like is like jokingly like tired of how sensitive Gen Z has come, which I will get to this movie, and that is one of the major crux of this movie. So yeah, the cast list, the performances from the cast in general are pretty good. The cinematography and the direction is also fairly solid. It's not as bright as a lot of other Luca Guadagnino movies. This movie feels a lot more like just like moody and more downtrodden than a lot of those films. It doesn't quite have the energy of his previous films, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. Something I love what this movie does is when you are having conversations with the characters, you will have like what I can only describe as like the Jonathan Demme Silence of the Lambs, like just one shot on the characters talking, and then we will cut back to another character talking, and you're just getting that character's face, and it really creates a very like intimate setting for these conversations, and I really enjoyed those. So this movie isn't like a complete train wreck, but it has a lot of issues, and I think the number one thing is, I think what this movie is trying to say about, without getting too much into spoilers, essentially what happens is, while Alma believes Maggie at first, as the movie starts to go on, go forward, she starts to doubt Maggie's story a lot more. Not necessarily because like more evidence is shown that like, oh, was she lying? Did Hank actually do this? But just because Maggie just starts acting in a really weird way. And this is a tricky way to talk about this. I think what this movie is trying to say about people that have spoken out against their abuser and against people that have attacked them, and how it's trying to say, like, you can't trust all these people. A lot of them are lying. I think it is handling in the very, at first, irresponsible way. Like just saying that, I'm just like, really, this is the story we are trying to like this is the story we're telling right now. We are like in this 2025 climate, is this really the time to be telling this type of story, especially from this point of view, if you're not going to be like super sensitive with the details? Because if this was a movie where Alma started doing more investigating and started to realize that like Alma's story isn't lining up in any major way, that would be okay. But just like the way how she just like starts to gain doubt from what Maggie is saying, and then just as Maggie's story just starts to become less and less believable, I just thought Luca was handling it not in the greatest way. And I also just think the way, like, there are just scenes in this movie where I'm just like, that's just stupid and that's just dumb. Like, this movie has like an air of just like self-importance in the things it's saying, when it really just feels like it's just sort of like cheesy, like Pretty Little Liars-esque, like over dramatic nature to it. A lot of the humor from this movie just comes from, you can tell Luca Guadagnino is someone from Generation X, which is someone born in like the 60s and 70s, being annoyed at Gen Z and how sensitive they are, and you can tell a lot of the characters are just like, this movie just feels like therapy for Luca Guadagnino to just air out his annoyances. Like, there was a line in this movie where Maggie, where Maggie's partner, who is non-binary, is they are talking with Maggie. Then Alma wants to go talk with Maggie, and Alma just says, "Hey, they go away." And it's just like, no one talks like this, even if you're trying to be like, haha, showing Gen Z that. It's like in no way does the dialogue feel like it's written like it's spoken by a real person. It feels like we're in this like weird like pseudo serious universe, and I just found that to be like really just sort of distracting. Something else I found distracting is, I cannot believe I'm about to say this, I think Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross delivered a really bad musical score. They are some of my favorite composers working today. They did the music for Challengers, which I think is one of my favorite music scores of the decade so far. I love their music for The Social Network. They did a really phenomenal score with Tron Ares this year. But the reason this score doesn't work is it's very low key in the way they do, where it really is just a piano score. But you will at times just have these characters be having a very serious conversation, and you just hear like one key just start being hit on a piano, and then another key start getting hit on a piano. It just starts getting louder and louder to the point where I'm just like, I want to focus on this conversation, but I can't, because this music score is so annoying in what it's trying to do. It honestly reminds me of what Johnny Greenwood did with the One Battle After Another score. But while that was invasive with purpose, this just feels like it's just trying to create like something else to add to the mood, and it just comes off feeling very unnecessary, and ends up killing the atmosphere of the film in a very serious way. I think the pacing of this movie is really off. I think it's way too long. The movie comes in at around 2 hours and 20 minutes, and I think through the second half, when you are dealing with Maggie speaking out, and how the press is now coming to Yale in order to get her side of the story, I think the movie just comes to a dead halt, because I think the story maybe could have like served as like an hour and 45-minute movie, but for some reason it was just stretched out over into 2 hours and 20 minutes, and it just ends up making the second half of this film feel very padded. A lot of weird humor, a lot of weird attempts at humor. Like, there was a point where Alma comes home late, and she finds her husband sleeping, and he went to sleep with his laptop on, and he was watching porn, and you think that's going to go somewhere, but Alma never confronts him about this, and I'm just like, okay, then why was this made a big deal? It feels very strange. There are a ton of character details that are introduced in the last half of the movie. And again, I don't want to spoil too much, but I think what you learn about Alma and how that relates to Maggie only makes the message of this movie feel even more irresponsible and feel even more insensitive to what it is trying to say about Me Too and about cancel culture. I think those are topics that I think can be handled well. One of my favorite movies of the 2020s so far, Tar. It is about a very toxic and abusive genius, a genius composer, and one of her victims ends up coming forward, and how her career is taken down, and that is handled in a really, really great way. This movie does not have that grace or that class to really make that statement, which sucks because I really do like Luca Guadagnino. I think he is a very talented director, but I think he was just a little bit out of his depth when he did make this movie. If I were to rate this movie on a scale of 0 to 10 videotapes, 0 being awful, 10 being amazing, I'm going to give this movie, man, it sucks giving a score like this to one of your favorite directors, but I'm going to give this a flat 5. I think this movie has some things that I really, really enjoyed, but it has some things that really made me just like scratch my head, and stuff that I really, really didn't enjoy. That this really does feel like a blemish in Luca Guadagnino's career. I'm gonna be excited for his next movie. He still is a director I really like, but yeah, this is easily my least favorite film by Luca Guadagnino. I wish I could say go see it, because I want to say people should be going out to see these original dramas made for adults that are being put in theaters. But when they're not great, as a critic, you can't really tell people to go see it in theaters. When it comes on streaming, maybe check it out for yourself, because just the performances alone. But yeah, this is one for theaters you can definitely skip, unfortunately. But let's talk about our second movie of the night, that being Good Fortune, directed by Aziz Ansari. This movie focuses on an angel played by Gabriel, who is tasked with very minor tasks in terms of what angels are tasked with. He is in charge of saving people that are texting while driving. He taps them on the shoulder in order to give them a little warning that a car is coming. And he is getting very bored at his job and wants to help someone who really needs help and who's really becoming a lost soul. And he ends up meeting Arj. Arj is played by Aziz Ansari. He is someone who is taking a lot of tasks in order to make ends meet. Arj ends up meeting Jeff. He is this big tech bro billionaire played by Seth Rogen. And when Arj is sort of at his like wit's end, just saying like, is it all worth it? Gabriel decides, you know what? I'm going to make you and Jeff switch places, so that way you can see that money doesn't solve all your problems. The issue, once him and Jeff switch places, Arj starts to really, really love the carefree life and the seemingly easy life that Jeff has, and doesn't want to switch back. And chaos essentially assumes from there. This is a really, really fun idea for a movie where it's kind of taking the idea of It's a Wonderful Life, of just like, oh, everyone has a guardian angel. That guardian angel is supposed to show you what your real purpose is. But it spins that on its head of like, hey, what if when Clarence was showing showing George Bailey how much everyone means to him and how important his life was, what if George Bailey didn't take a lesson from that and he just said, no, my life still sucks, sorry. This one kind of goes from there and finds the comedy of the second Arj gets his money, all of his problems seems to go away. He's no longer living in his car. He no longer really has to work. He just has to attend a Zoom meeting every other day. He's able to really just bullshit his way around all the lingo that Jeff's business does. And Jeff is someone that slowly starts to realize how hard it is to actually be someone in the working class. You learn that there is a really funny moment where Jeff says, hey, I can easily do this life. I'm a self-made man. And Arj says, oh, really? What did your parents do? Well, my dad was an orthopedic surgeon and my mom was a lawyer. And it's like, okay, this is definitely someone that didn't really come from nothing. And you finally see what his life is struggling and he is really starting to put in his place. Jeff starts to befriend Gabriel, because Gabriel, due to his irresponsible actions, his wings go away. So now he has to get a job. Keanu Reeves is so funny as this dopey yet really wide-eyed, optimistic angel that wants to do good, but where his intentions are so good, but his actions are just so poor in the way how he how he really tries to help people. He says everything in the monotone delivery that we all love from Keanu Reeves, and it works really, really well with this character. Aziz Ansari's and Seth Rogen are also pretty good. Aziz Ansari is someone that, like, he can sometimes rub me the wrong way in the characters he plays, but when his roles do serve a character well, it is useful. And when he's in full like douche rich mode in this movie, he is really, really funny. I think he actually sells the emotional moments very well with his relationship with Elena, played by Keke Palmer. Keke Palmer is really, really great in this. She's just an actress I love, and like pretty much any time I see her, like, put Keke Palmer in everything as far as I'm concerned. I would watch her. I would watch that woman read the phone book, and everything that happens with her character. Seth Rogen is really, really great too. Having a really great year with this and the studio. I will say this movie does set up a really funny like hierarchy of angels. The leader of the angels, Martha, played by Sandra Oh. She is the one that assigns all these different angels to different people. There is an angel assigned to authors with writer's block. There is an angel assigned to musicians. There is an angel assigned to people that are suicidal. And I kind of wish we would have explored that world a little bit more. Something funny this movie does set up is the angels are really just judged by the size of their wings. So Keanu Reeves' Gabriel just has these really, really small wings, and Martha has these giant wings. I really do kind of wish we would have had a little bit more there. I will say the humor of this movie not quite as laugh out loud as you might expect, and a lot of the jokes aren't like, it's really not like a joke a minute. It really does sort of like let you sink in with the jokes, and it has a bit of an awkward sense of humor. Honestly, if I were to describe the sense of humor of this movie, it is a little low key, which you might be surprised with Aziz Ansari's and Seth Rogen in this movie. But they are much more concerned with, like, honestly, kind of like the like sort of light drama that these characters are going through, and then just by the end, when with just both of the revelations that both Jeff and Arch have about their lives are just sort of heartwarming and honestly kind of uplifting in the way what it's trying to say. Just looking at my notes, like I said, the movie does have a very surprising ending. Like, if I told you, like, okay, so Arch sort of becomes the villain for a while, Jeff sort of starts to realize how hard people have it, you might be like, okay, I can kind of see where this movie's ending. It doesn't end that way. It goes to some surprising places. And I think it honestly earns its fairly emotional ending that I do think is handled very, very well. This movie isn't a movie that is going to like blow your socks up, but I think for what it's doing for a mainstream studio comedy, I think it's handled really, really well. This is Aziz Ansari's first movie. And compared to a lot of very overproduced comedies I see, where you can clearly see it's shot on a soundstage, nothing looks real. You can tell all the sets are real, all like the big crown scenes. You can tell everyone's actually there, so you actually do feel like you are in LA when you are watching this movie, which is definitely a plus, because as you all know, that is maybe my number one nitpick as an audience member, is when I'm watching a movie that is so overproduced to the point where I can clearly tell that I'm watching a movie. That is one of the more annoying things I have. But this movie doesn't have that. If I were to rate this movie on a scale of 0 to 10 videotapes, I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. I think this is a good, solid comedy. The type of original comedies we say we want more of, and Hollywood seems to be making less and less of. So if you do have time, I would genuinely recommend you do go see this in theaters. You will have quite a few laughs, really fun just concept of watching these three actors interact with each other. Nothing amazing, but still a super, super solid movie. But thank you all for watching Cinemaster's reviews this week. Remember to like this video and subscribe to the video store. It helps grow our channel a lot. Unfortunately, I can give this warning now. No new episode this week. I'm just looking at my schedule, and it's going to be one of those rare weekends where I'm not going to have time to see any movie next week. I know Deliver Us from Nowhere, the new Bruce Springsteen movie, is coming out. I believe Richard Linklater has a new movie coming out that I'm excited about. So I hope you all enjoy that. I'm originally not going to be able to see those until the weekday. But thank you all for watching. Remember to like this video and subscribe. And as always, until next time, watch more movies.
And the award for most vapid film review of the century goes to...
Okay, movie review. Okay, I thought it was beauty.
and he's now in cinema hell, where one day we'll all be reunited.
This is me at the Regal Cinema crying as I did through much of the film.